I have some things to say about dragons in the world of Avatar. Now, first of all, I just want to express that I'm always impressed by how Avatar manages to draw things from many different sources. So, for instance, they have influences from the Mayan civilization, from China, from the Inuits, from really everywhere, and they use all of that in their world building, and that's to create something very unique, and that's wonderful, really. Now, back to the topic of the dragons in the Avatar universe. First of all, they have four traits, four toes, excuse me. So they have four toes, which is typically a Korean trait. Korean dragons have four toes generally. But they're also able to breathe fire like European dragons, and they have wings like European dragons, and the dragons are heavily influenced by some Chinese depictions, and they draw from many different sources, and that's also one of the things that's fascinating about that. But in universe, back to the plot, we've noticed that many of the dragons look very different. So, for instance, Ran and Shaw from uh, the ones that Zuko and Aang met, they look incredibly different. I'm talking about their physical features. They look incredibly different from Fang, who's Roku's dragon, and also Sozin's blue dragon. So there were obviously many different species and subspecies of dragons. Now, as we know, Sozin started the tradition of hunting down the dragons, and supposedly Rad and Shaw were the last ones left. But of course, in the Legend of Korra, we see that Zuko has a dragon, and it's Druk. And I want to make a few side notes on Druk for a moment. So, with Druk, Zuko's dragon, I believe it was confirmed somewhere that Druk is a descendant of Ran and Shaw, but I'm not. I'm also not sure if that was actually confirmed or not. So I would have to check back on that. Let's see. Yeah, but with Druk, I would say that he's definitely much smaller than Ran and Shaw. And I think he's also smaller than Roku's dragon Fang and also Sozin's dragon and maybe some of the other ones we've seen. So I think we can safely assume that Druk the dragon was born maybe after the Hundred-Year War, maybe? Who knows? So just judging on his size and the way he flies a little bit, he sort of shifts around and the flying seems a little unsteady. So I think that's also has to do with him being a little young, just an assumption I'm making. Now, moving on, we also know about the green dragon that Aang and Kuzan helped out, and we also know about the white dragon that taught Wan firebending. Now, moving on to my theories, or actually before we do that, we've seen that dragons in the Avatar universe are incredibly intelligent, and I'm going to guess some of the most intelligent. I know Sky Bison are intelligent too, and Badger Moles know stuff, but Badger Moles seem to be. They like music, but I'm just not sure how smart they actually are to some extent. Like, I just wonder because they're domesticated very easily, but then I guess you could make the same argument about the Sky Bisons and the dragons, but okay. Yeah, so dragons seem intelligent because they read Zuko and Aang's hearts, their histories and their minds, and they see everything about them, and I'm like, huh, how do they do that? Like, how even in the Avatar universe, it seems a little incredible that a simple animal would be able to just look at a person and read their entire life like an open book. Like that seems out there. So maybe dragons have another origin that we don't really know about, and maybe they come from a special place, or maybe they have this special tendency and they know stuff. Maybe They, to some extent, they have similar not intelligence as lion turtles. Maybe that's pushing it a little too far, but that's just the thought. So I'm not really making a concrete theory here, but I'm going to guess that dragons are special. Let's just leave it there. Now, is Druk the last dragon or Ran and Shaw really the last dragons? I would say, I hope not, because it would be really sad if they were, but I get the feeling they aren't because, and this is a little unrelated, but remember the Fire Nation wiped out the air nomads and the sky bison and the lemurs were thought to be extinct, but obviously we see there's other lemurs and other sky bison that's are still alive and they're in Legend of Korra and there's a lot of them. So something similar might have happened with the dragons where maybe there were some living elsewhere and not just in the Fire Nation because they do fly around. So maybe they're somewhere where the Fire Nation couldn't find them. And also, dragons are very smart. So if the Fire Nation was hunting them, I'm sure they would have eventually caught on and thought, "Hey, maybe we should go into hiding, or maybe we shouldn't just be here where any firebender can come and like attack us. So maybe we should go away for a while and let's go." And even if they just killed all the dragons, like, do they have time to get rid of all the eggs? So some eggs could have hatched or they could have been taken away. And I think there are still a lot of dragons out there, is my point. Yeah, so those are all my thoughts on dragons, and this was a dragon video.